Welcome to the What You Gonna Want to Do podcast. This is our big post-election special.
Post-election special. Hey, welcome.
Yeah. I'm Kevin.
Brought to you by Post Cereal.
Ooh.
Plenty of fine cereals.
That's not true. It's not not really though. But Post is a good cereal brand. Not a sponsor.
Okay.
We'll get into the winners and the losers.
We'll break it all down.
Break it all down and fine-tooth comb.
Yep.
Those who, made it, those who didn't.
The big surprises.
Big surprises.
Yeah. All
the one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and the other.
That's a crusher.
The other one?
That's a crusher.
Yeah.
Never
That's
saw
a
that
crusher.
coming.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that one.
Oh, yep.
That's the one. That
We'll be
nobody saw
covering
coming.
the donkey and the elephant.
Ooh,
That's right.
Yeah.
big time.
Both animals.
Big time.
Yeah.
Before we get into that,
Yeah.
let's go back and look at some of the elections throughout history.
Okay.
At least through our lifetime,
Yeah.
moving
yeah.
forward.
So we're
Moving
almost
forward.
talking like a prehistory sort of thing. If we're
I
starting
wouldn't
with
say
your
it was
lifetime.
prehistoric. But the first presidential election that would have happened during Scott and I's lifetime, we were both born in 1967.
Lincoln.
No, Johnson was president when we were born.
Yeah.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Johnny B.
I
Good.
remember nothing about him, but he
What's the B stand for?
decided Baines.
Baines? Lyndon Baines Johnson?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
That's a really weird. Was that a family name? You reckon?
Probably.
Maybe like a maiden name of like a Anne or something.
Or his mother.
Could
Oh,
well, that made more sense.
That would make more sense.
But the aunt would have been, maybe she was a nice lady and they wanted her involved.
It could have been. It's happened.
Yes, people do that kind of thing.
But the first election would have been 68
Yeah.
Well, that's not the first election.
of our lifetime.
Okay.
Which we wouldn't have
We wouldn't have been
been
involved
aware
in.
of it.
You guys didn't
Maybe
vote
we
now.
had maybe you had like a Nixon badge on your diaper or Humphrey. One of the two.
Humphrey? What's the other
Humphrey, which
Humphrey on my Rumphrey.
my
Badge. Badge.
Yeah.
my mother's family, her maiden name is Humphrey, and I think one of their relatives looked into a genealogy to see if they were related to him, and I think that they weren't.
Wow. That whole story to say that you're not related to...
Not related to
Well,
Hubert H. Humphrey.
there's going to be some sobering truths.
Yeah.
That's why.
I can't. I mean, this is the election special.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be dropping any lies. I'm just bringing the truth.
Well, that's fair. Sometimes it's not relevant, but that's good that you brought it up.
Well, I didn't want, if anyone knew, that was
Knew Hugh?
a family name. I didn't want them thinking that we were related and we're not.
Yeah.
Unless we are.
You and Hugh aren't related.
We're not about misinformation.
No,
here.
that's not
Just the
us.
facts.
No,
No,
we're
Jack.
just the facts. But the winner of the 68 election was
Nixon.
Nixon.
Well,
And-
considering I hadn't even heard of Hugh Humphrey until today.
Hubert.
Well, us that are close to Hubert call him Hugh.
And his running mate?
Walter
Hubert.
Mondale.
No.
Oh,
Spiro
Agnew.
Agnew.
Who? What?
Yep, you heard it. You heard it here.
Spiro? Did somebody misspell Sparrow on the paper?
Do you have any idea who Humphrey's running mate was?
Dumfrey.
And as I was doing this,
Dumpty.
I'm gonna hit you with the running mates of both the winners and the losers,
okay.
Ooh.
because the losers, that'll be hard to think of.
Oh, yeah. It was...
I mean, in some
Jimmy
cases,
Carter.
it might be hard to even think of who the loser was
So,
But-
running mate of Humphrey.
of Humphrey.
Was it a Kennedy?
No, it was not, because most likely Robert Kennedy would have been
he
the
would have
nominee
been-
that year.
Okay.
Of course, he was assassinated in California during the primary season in the summer. So, didn't.
It's a bad decade for the Kennedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very bad.
Not a good time to be
And
a
that
Kennedy.
was, bad time for assassinations. I mean, same year that he was
That
assassinated.
implies there's a good time for
Well, no.
assassinations.
I mean, it was a time when there were a lot of assassinations. That same year,
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated that very same year.
Jeez.
You give us a hint maybe on it, or was
I
there
really
anything
know this
possible?
name.
I doubt you know this name.
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
just tell us who it is then.
Edmund Muskie.
Eddie.
Of the
Eddie Muskie.
New Hampshire Muskies.
And this is the only time. There's a few
So
times.
embarrassed.
You knew the Muskies.
There's a few times throughout the years when a third party candidate will come in to play.
Okay.
This year is one of them. And this is the only time a third party candidate actually wins any electoral votes.
Really?
Yeah.
The first time?
The first time. As far as, well, it's the only time during this period. I will say, I don't know throughout history, probably.
Was Theodore Roosevelt a third-party candidate?
I mean, during
During
this time period.
yeah.
I'm not talking about eternity.
Was it?
So we aren't just reporting facts. We're reporting your facts that you've
We're
manufactured.
reporting
Well,
during our lifetime. We're sticking
facts
to
within our
our
lifetime.
lifetime. So the only time during our lifetime when a third party candidate actually received electoral votes.
Was it Ross Perot?
No, it was not.
Oh,
I thought he was
Bernie.
alive. Bernie
Sanders.
No.
Feel the burn. Gotta be.
No.
it was.
Well, he's old enough.
It was former Alabama governor,
Oh,
racist.
racist. Yeah.
I mean, it's a well-known fact. I'm not making this up.
Right.
I even was discussing this with my parents,
I don't.
mostly my mom, because
Okay.
I didn't realize that there was a third-party candidate. then.
Okay.
Are you going to tell us?
Did you give us
George
his name?
Wallace.
George Wallace.
Yes. And his running mate was Curtis LeMay. And they got 13.5%
Oh, really?
of the popular vote, and they got 46 electoral votes.
Jeez.
And Nixon had 301, Humphrey 190, or 191. But from what Mom said, basically Wallace's whole campaign was just racist. He didn't. He was
Really?
like totally against segregation, and that's pretty much what he ran
For
ran.
segregation?
What did I say?
You said against.
He's
He was
for. He
for.
was for
He
it.
was for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was worried you didn't.
I said that
I thought maybe
completely
for a second
backwards.
you didn't know what racism was.
Not saying again, and we all know this, of course, that there aren't pockets of still prejudice out here against minorities and others. But I also want to say, just by that, how far we've come.
Right.
Yeah. This
That's
guy
crazy.
is running his entire campaign.
His
on
whole
racism.
platform. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Basically it. And then we're moving on to 72.
72.
72.
Can't be cheating.
That's Nixon again.
It's a good
Nixon
year
again.
for wine.
Was it?
No idea.
72.
Back to Nixon and Agnew. And this was a bloodbath. He got
Be
actually.
careful with that word.
I'm sorry.
Especially
If you use that out of
Sorry. He got 60.7% of the popular votes.
So a lot of it.
His electoral votes. Any guess on how many he got?
83%.
No. No. You need, is it
270.
270 to
272.
win is what you need to win.
He got
Any guess
300.
on how many you got?
315.
Higher.
Really?
752.
Higher. No, lower.
That's crazy.
He got
8 million?
520.
Are you kidding?
electoral
Oh
votes.
my gosh.
My gosh.
That means the only guy
His-
got 17.
Is
his
that the
opponent-
biggest win
That's the biggest one during this
time?
year. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
And it
Jeff,
was,
you were saying
you know,
that.
Nixon. It was- who was his opponent that year?
72.
Yep.
Mondale.
Yeah.
That.
This is the. You mentioned it earlier when we were just talking. This was the
Ross Perot?
Watergate scandal.
Isn't Watergate just a dam?
It could be, but it was a hotel.
Oh.
Nope. I saw that coming. Shut that down.
72, though.
Yep.
72. It was Agnew and Nixon versus.
George.
Stephanopoulos.
George McGovern.
Oh, McGovern.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his running mate was I've never heard of this person. I assume it was his real first name, Sergeant
Peppers.
Shriver.
Sergeant Peppers.
Sergeant Shriver.
I'm
This
disappointed.
is the whole Watergate scandal that led to Nixon's ouster, basically, and resigning. What?
Not a crook.
That's you get the not a crook.
I remember, vaguely remember that as a
I
kid.
do remember vaguely.
I remember
say that. Honestly,
I remember being sad, feeling sorry for him when he left, because you're a kid, you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But I thought, that's sad. He
You
has
thought
to leave.
just because he opened up that Watergate.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
I took him for his word. So
that he wasn't a crook.
no, the opposite of his word. Then I thought he was a crook
Oh, you thought-
from the get-go.
Oh,
Because
Even in the womb,
Because
I could
only
hear
a-
stirrings of
this guy.
only a crook says that they're not a crook.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
No
like
one.
a-
Nobody's gonna.
Never said it in my life. I've never said, "Hey,
No, I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook.
yeah, why would I?" But now that you've said that, I kind of wonder.
Yeah.
But
What was
by
his
the
nickname?
Tricky Dick. By the end of his term,
Excuse me.
bless you.
Thank you.
By the end of his term, he's gone. His vice president's gone, and
Jerry.
Gerald Ford is the president.
Ford.
And then, of course, Ford runs in '76.
Against
Big old Jimmy.
Jimmy Carter.
Americana.
And who was his running mate?
Mr.
Walter
Miss-
Mondale.
Walter Mondale. Finally got it.
Mr.
We finally got Mondale out of there. He's out in the open now. Carter got 50%, 50.1% of the vote.
Really?
Yep.
50.1.
Ford got 48.
Who got the other ones? Mickey Mouse.
It like never comes up to 100 because Mickey Mouse gets a lot of votes.
Mickey Mouse gets.
And there's always, random weird third party.
Yeah.
I'm still
that
waiting
don't
on
really
Mickey
get-
Mouse to get his well-deserved presidency.
I do remember even, as a kid, Gerald Ford,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I understood a whole lot, but I knew that, I remember
Big
him
Ford
on
house.
TV and that kind of thing.
You had some Ford connections, is what you're thinking. You were a big Ford guy. You said what?
Any idea who Ford's running mate was?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Chris Chevy.
It's going to be someone who ends up
Chris
running themselves years later
Oh,
as the nominee for their
Robert
party.
Pontiac.
Robert
Reagan.
Dole.
Dole. Oh, Bob.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole?
Bob Dole was
Bob
his
Dole
name.
ran when I was a kid.
I know.
Bob Dole was a
And he
crusty
ran
old
when
fuck.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He just kept running.
He just kept.
Was he
kept
one?
running.
Was he part of the Fruit Doles? The Dole fruit family?
I don't think so. He's from
I don't
Iowa.
think he was.
You
Was
know,
he?
that fruit in Iowa. They don't.
They have
just
mostly
taters
corn.
on-
They just have corn in Iowa.
No, just
A
corn.
lot of
Nothing
corn.
but corn.
Hawkeyes.
I mean, they hardly have roads. It's just corn. And you
Well,
drive
they were
between them.
going. They didn't need roads. Is this right? Huh?
It's Iowa. They have baseball fields and corn
Yeah. And dead baseball players.
coming out of the corn.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Pete Rose is probably there now.
No. Yeah.
That's took a turn.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Let's focus
Some
up.
weird theology.
That was your theology.
Moving on to 1980.
It's got to be Reagan.
80.
It's Reagan
Ronnie.
and his running mate.
Escaped me now.
It was his vice president
Andy
for 8
Griffith.
years. His son would go on to be president as well.
Yeah, it was George W. Yeah.
George H.W.
H.W. Sorry.
The worst. W.
And of course, they were running against the incumbent president, who
Jimmy Carter.
was Carter.
Jimmy. Yeah.
And
And
Mondale. Yeah.
but wait, there's more. There was a third party this year.
Really?
Yep. You might remember.
Ross Perot.
Ross
It
Perot.
was not Ross Perot.
Dang, got it.
Oh, that's because
And-
it was.
It was John Anderson.
John Anderson.
John Anderson.
Now, he was also the president of the Confederacy, right? Same guy?
No.
Could have been.
No.
Sounds like a guy who could have been
John
president.
Anderson.
He had been a senator, I want to say. And I think he was a Republican. Didn't really like Reagan's brand of being, conservative.
Yeah.
And so he was running against him, trying to take votes away from him, basically.
Votes away from him. Okay.
And, hoping that he would lose and then they could put someone in 4 years. But
He's playing the long
Reagan,
game.
Reagan being all,
Anderson.
got 50.7%. And he also, not quite 500, but he got 489 electoral votes.
Oh, wow.
So it was a pretty big landslide.
That's no small number.
Oh, and I was wrong. There was, never mind. Carter got 49.
49.
Yeah, and he got 41% of the vote. And Anderson got 6.6. Yep. So we jump forward to 84.
84.
We're in high school.
It's
Just
Reagan.
almost old enough to vote, but
I'm
not quite.
even born yet. It's Reagan again.
Reagan's re-election with Bush. And who did he run against?
Who was that?
You got to say it. You've said it so many times already. You just got to say it.
Ross Perot.
No.
Mondale.
Very good.
Well, Mondale.
Yeah, this is the election where I do remember this in Bill O'Reilly's book, Confronting the Presidents.
Yeah.
Is that Reagan was doing bad on the first debate,
Yeah.
and then he came out and
Guns blazing.
guns blazing, and he took that momentum all the way. I mean, he just killed
We're
it.
going to go out there
was
and
that-
win one for the Gipper.
Was that the one where he used the thing about his age?
Yep.
I'm not going to make, my opponents, lack of experience.
Yes.
Youth and lack of experience an issue. Because they were making a big deal about Reagan being older.
Yeah, really killed him. I mean,
Because up to that point, I think he was...
just figuratively.
I think up to that point, he was the oldest man.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah, he was the Methuselah. He was the oldest to be president at that time.
And every year we just keep crushing that record.
We do.
Yes, we do, unfortunately.
Because they just won't give up. But Mondale's running mate, we have a first time.
Oh, is he going to play a role in ongoing?
No.
Oh.
I think pretty much after this, you never hear of this person again.
Oh, it's the Olympia. No.
Olympia Dukakis?
That's all I
That's what you were going to throw.
No, Geraldine Ferraro.
Geraldine Ferraro.
I know.
The first woman on a ticket.
Yeah.
JD?
G.
GD?
GF.
Geraldine Ferraro.
Geraldine Ferraro. Geraldine.
Geraldine was one word?
GF.
Yeah.
That's a lot of letters.
Apparently it was too many to write down on the ballot.
Apparently it was too many.
Because they lost. Pretty big.
Oh.
And I was wrong when I said
the names on?
I was wrong when I said that Nixon's 520 was the biggest.
Oh.
Reagan got 525.
Just wait, he'll be wrong again. He's no one's fact checking this guy. He's just going wrong.
Mondale only got 13. He only won his home state,
Oh, was it the...
like Minnesota, and then he got
Minnesota.
Washington D.C.
Oh,
and that
wow.
was all he got.
That was it.
Yep. So he got
Where all his friends were voting for him.
and
All his friends.
and I've heard people say that he might not have even really won Minnesota.
Oh, really?
But they were like, they didn't want to embarrass him because it was his home state, and so they kind of said that he did. I don't know.
Well,
Who knows?
Speculation.
Speculation. Okay.
But I mean, that would be
that would
crushing.
Well, it's a trouncing.
Yeah, he was getting it handed to him.
Because then it would have been like 537 to
And
1.
that following year was Clinton.
The following year,
George.
From the following election. Oh, yeah, George.
And who was the vice president? I racked my brain because I was thinking,
Bob Dole.
Who was the vice
Quayle.
president? It was Dan Quayle.
Dan Quayle.
Who famously couldn't spell what word?
Potato.
Potato.
Huh. Me and Dan would have got along.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, they were trying to make him out to be a complete idiot.
Yeah,
well, let's be honest. Potato's not. There's letters in there you didn't see coming.
But what if they would have said potato? Maybe he would have got it right.
It's possible.
Yeah. What did he do though? How do you spell it wrong?
He started with a Q.
Q.
No.
Potato.
Potato.
I don't know how he spelled it wrong.
Did you toss an E in there? Maybe you thought there was a rogue E.
He might have thrown an E
I think
in there.
the E was.
Yeah,
his family was English, so they were going with the formal British spelling.
Potato.
Yeah,
potatoes. Boil, put them in a stew.
And who did Bush run against? You were talking about
Gore.
You were talking.
No, Perot. This is where Perot comes in.
No.
Oh, Clinton.
No.
Not yet.
O'Connor.
Not Sinead.
This is when the
You mentioned his cousin earlier. I believe it was his cousin.
What?
Mistakenly.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
When you said Olympia.
Dukakis. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Dukakis.
Yeah, that's right.
And
What's his first name?
Wasn't Olympia.
Michael.
That's right. That's his wife.
And he's the one that had the famous commercial. Well, Bush ran the commercial because this guy, he was one of the New England states is where had been the governor of, and he was a dorky guy.
He was kind of, yeah.
He goes out and he thinks, okay, it'll be cool. I'll look really macho riding this tank. Right. So the man gets in a tank and is being driven around. He's like at the turret and he's got this, one of the metal hats on. Yeah. And he just looks like such a dork. Yeah. And so Bush ran that as his ad against him.
Now, would you... Personally, I've always referred to metal hats as helmets. Would you say that?
I would say it was a metal. I would call it a hat anyway, just because.
All right, well, that's a different take. It was a different time.
It's a different time, yeah.
Or a helmet. I've heard it both ways.
He did look.
Give me one of those metal hats.
A lot of people say.
How do you spell
helmet?
Yeah. Helmet with an
E. Potato. Yeah.
Helmute.
Helmute.
Hey, mute.
Do you remember who Dukakis's running mate was?
Oh, running mate. Gee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's his name?
Yep, he had a name. It was the famous vice presidential debate with him and Quayle.
I remember it. Quayle and Monorail.
And Quayle mentioned that he was the same age as John F. Kennedy.
Oh.
Are you remembering now?
Sort of, but I'm trying to remember
Lloyd Benson was the running mate. He's like, I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. You, sir, are no Jack Kennedy.
Really?
Yeah. And crushed him in the debate.
Oh, wow.
With that, but didn't help him win the election. Because of the whole tank thing.
Yeah.
He tanked that
He tanked again.
Yeah.
But then you move up to 92.
92.
You got Bush running for re-election.
Yeah.
But who sweeps in?
Barack Hussein Obama. This is Clinton.
This is Clinton.
Yeah. Oh. Hillary Rodham Clinton.
And who was
Bill?
Who was Bill's?
Gore.
Who was Bill's? Al Gore.
Yeah, Gore. That's what
Alfred Gore.
And they win the election.
Yeah.
With only 43% of the popular vote.
Oh, wow. Clinton. Oh,
Clinton.
Didn't know that.
Because there was a third party that year.
My man, Ross Perot.
Ross Perot.
The Perot.
Perot pulls
down the bayou.
18.9%.
Yeah, he was.
He was out there getting it.
Yeah, he was like the original outside businessman.
Yeah,
the kind of the original fella that.
Yeah, with his flip charts and.
Yeah, he had his charts going.
He was pretty dorky.
But, yeah, he was.
But
he was. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I voted for the man.
Actually, I did too.
I didn't vote for Perot.
Twice.
Yeah.
That year.
I can't remember if I did the second time or not.
Twice.
I honestly, I only did the first time.
Okay.
I still liked what he was saying the second time,
Yeah.
but I thought, oh, well, I don't want to do that again.
I got
Gotcha. Not that again.
that again.
But Clinton Gore got 370. Bush Quayle got 168. And
Perot.
Well, that's what Bush gets
not
for
getting
having
any.
a bird as his running mate.
But I forgot to mention the
Weird
50 or the 90 or the 88 election that Bush had 53.4%.
Oh, okay.
And
I bet you could
Dukakis only had
I
45.
bet you could have not went back and people wouldn't have known.
Oh, they probably wouldn't have.
I'm glad we
I don't
backtracked
want
for
people
that.
not knowing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just shows you. He lost almost 20.
He did.
Points.
He lost 20 points.
You know, there was a point I wanted to make on another one back here. If we could just, can we get back? No.
No,
All right.
you're not going back. We can't look back. We can't look
I just
back.
want to talk about 76.
76. He had a.
But do you remember what his big
Pivotal.
downfall was?
Oh.
He had IBS. And
Which one?
Bush.
Oh, it was.
Probably the
Read
9/11.
my
stuff.
lips.
That's no new taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
then
then
he
he
raised
raised
taxes.
taxes. Yeah.
So people don't like that.
No.
It doesn't go well.
Yeah, that's right. No new taxes. Yeah.
Okay, jumping up to 96.
96.
You got the Bubba party, or what do they call them? The Bubbas.
What?
Clinton and Gore.
Clinton
That's
and
what they
Gore,
called
yeah.
Clinton and Gore because they were both from the South,
Arkansas, where
Tennessee.
Oh, Arkansas.
So they're
and
running.
Tennessee.
They're running
Must
again
be from Tennessee.
and again. I
really
mean, they
only
get
two
reelected, but they still don't top 50%.
Oh, really?
Because
Yeah.
Ross Perot was at it again.
Ross Perot, and
Ross-
I was one of those people.
Ross sneaks out 8.4 in the second time, so he dropped about 10
He
points.
dropped quite a bit.
But
didn't
he had switched running mates
Yes.
from the first time to the
He
second.
brought
Do you
in
remember-
Dan Quayle.
Do you remember
he?
who
Unbelievable.
his first running mate was?
Yeah.
The Admiral.
Oh, Schwarzkopf.
No, Stockdale.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like an old guy,
Yes,
and
he was.
he just seemed totally out of
Yeah.
it. Because he was in on the vice presidential debate, right? And he just came in, and yeah, people were like, no.
No.
This time he
About
brought in
this
a
guy.
captain.
So his
Crunch.
running mate the second time was
Captain
Pat
Crunch.
Choate, Choate. Don't know who that
Don't
person
remember
was.
that.
The gross.
It is a gross name. And
I remember that one.
my assistant failed to write down how many electoral votes were passed out this time.
Let the record show this is his handwriting.
You can't see that.
I've seen it.
Yes.
So we're jumping up to 2000.
All right, we're coming right up.
All right.
And who was elected that year?
That's George W.
George W. And
Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
That-
Sorry. Yeah.
It was running against Al Gore.
Oh,
Yeah.
You remember who Gore's running mate was?
The internet.
Barack Obama.
That he invented to run with him?
Joe Biden.
No.
No.
It was Joe.
Joe. I do know. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I know.
He looked like the dad from
Lieberman.
Alf. Joe Lieberman.
Oh, Lieberman. Good job.
At one point, I really cared about politics.
And this election was the hanging Chads.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of Chads hanging
On and
out.
on.
Yeah.
It was contested
Yeah.
for quite a while. I think one of my uncles went down there and was
Chad.
like,
His name was Chad.
no, he was like down there,
Counting
had
ballots.
something to do with
Did he?
He was cooking the books. He was.
Possible.
If there was a Chad hanging, if there was a Chad hanging, he was poking.
He was yeah, he helped it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were
What
saying
county
that
was that?
Miami-Dade.
Miami-Dade. Yeah.
Right.
That's how CSI Miami got started.
Yeah, counting chads. Looking for the fingerprints on the chads. There's some DNA on here.
Right. Wasn't the term pregnant Chad a thing?
Yes.
Didn't quite get punctured.
That's right. A pregnant Chad.
And I
anything about pregnancy.
I totally hated that.
No?
After that had happened, because we had those kind of ballots here that you would punch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to vote. You went in, you punched the one you wanted, and it was a piece of cake. You never had any problems with it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they've got these weird problems because, you know, the elderly people down in Florida didn't connect. I don't have the strength to punch.
Well, punching the one you wanted, that's actually how they did the first election. And that's also how Washington got a black eye.
That's
interesting.
Probably not true, but
okay, good.
Partially.
Yeah, and we're not spreading false information here.
I read that somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Read it.
Sure.
He's backing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you read it on Reddit,
he's got sources.
It can't be false.
Bush and Cheney barely eked it out, though. 271 to 266. It was a tight one.
Cheney's never missed a shot.
That's right.
There's another anomaly about this one.
I mean, no. That's right on the close.
There was another anomaly about this election, and it's happened since, and it had happened before, but it doesn't always happen. The popular vote, going one way,
and the electoral vote going the other way.
Mm-hmm. Gordon Lieberman got 48.4%, and Bush and Cheney got 47.9%.
Oh, okay.
But they still pulled it out. They ran for re-election in 2004. And of course, that's after all the 9/11 stuff.
Yeah.
We're at war in Iraq at that point.
Yeah.
And, his popularity was pretty high.
Yeah.
He gets over 50%, 50.7. Who is he running against?
George W.
Yeah, who's he running against?
Obama.
No.
No.
Was it Gore again?
No.
Was Lieberman still involved?
No. But this guy's still around doing stuff, flying all over the world, talking about climate change.
That's what Al Gore does.
Not Al Gore, though. There's another guy that does that.
Romney.
He's a Republican, and he was later.
John
Kennedy. Oh, Kerry.
John Kerry. That's who I was trying to think of earlier.
Still alive.
John Kerry.
I don't remember his running mate, though.
No, I don't.
He had the really great hair.
Yeah.
Like, famously got a haircut, I think, on an airplane holding up traffic.
Are you talking about John Kerry still?
No, his running mate.
Oh, I don't know.
Had an affair while his wife was pregnant or had cancer or something.
Gee.
Edwards.
John Edwards. I remember. I do remember John Edwards.
John Square.
Vaguely, yeah.
That's their slogan.
Yep. Up to 2008 now.
2008. That's Barack Obama.
Yeah. Now
Joe Biden and what's his face?
Who are they running on?
John McCain, and Sarah Palin. Not Sarah Palin or something.
Yep, Sarah Palin.
Easy on the eyes. That's Sarah Palin. We saw her talk.
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we never saw her in Troy.
Oh,
at
really?
Hobart Arena.
Oh, wow.
I think we
Tag was there.
In '96 when we were talking about Perot again. Completely forgot to mention that the Republican nominee that year was Bob Dole.
Oh, Bob Dole, that's right.
I wanted to talk about something back here in the 70s.
And Jack Kemp.
Bob Dole. Okay.
Jack Kemp, the guard who played for the Supersonics.
Yes.
That was Sean Kemp.
That's right. Jack Kemp was a football player. I think he played for the Bills or something.
Oh, yeah. That was my fault.
Yeah, I forgot about Bob. Yeah,
By you saying a sport, I'm like thinking, he was an athlete.
He's an athlete,
football. But in 08,
man.
you guys said it. You got Obama, Biden against.
That's the first election I could vote in.
And Obama took it big time. 52.9% of the popular vote to 45.7.
Okay.
And 365 electoral votes to 173.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Pretty.
You would call it, major.
Yeah. I voted third party. Mickey Mouse again, baby. I know what I'm about.
Nothing wrong with that. Go with the one you like.
Yeah.
They ran it back in 2012 and still got 51.1%. Who did they run against in 2012?
That was Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Newt Gingrich.
No.
That wasn't Newt? No.
No.
Mitt Romney and...
Tag Palin.
Mitt Romney and...
I'm trying to think of this guy's first name. He was Speaker of the House for a little bit.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Newt Gingrich.
Not Newt Gingrich.
Oh.
Yeah.
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan, yeah.
Paul Rudd.
And they only got 47.2.
Yeah. Romney had good hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
And then 2016.
Hillary and Trump.
Yep.
Man, sorry, I got
Their running
back
mates,
cramp going on.
respectively.
Well, Trump was Pence. Hillary's was
Biden.
Biden. No, it wasn't Bill.
Nope. Tipper.
No,
No, it wasn't Tipper Gore.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been pretty good.
They may have won.
Didn't they want it to be Michelle?
I don't know.
Maybe. Oprah Winfrey.
No. It was a dude.
Oh,
Tim
Taylor.
Kane.
Oh yeah, Tim Kaine.
Tim Kane.
Forgot that name.
And this is another one where the popular vote and
Oh,
electoral vote don't agree. She got 48.2. He got 46.1. He got 304 in the electoral college, and she got 227. College.
In the college, you know.
And then that moves us up to 2020, and ain't nobody got time for that.
oh yeah.
Yeah. We're not getting into 2020. Too controversial for our show.
I felt controversial, anyways. But okay,
It happened.
yeah, it did happen.
We don't need to talk. We don't need to rehash all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's take a turn. So, yeah, politics. One of my favorite topics. That, and other things.
Well, you've always been a pretty big Mickey Mouse guy. I mean, you let that be known.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, there's been numerous times where Mickey has won the popular vote, and I think maybe we give him a shot. He can't do any worse than what we've done.
I think so.
I think Mickey's got a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
He's fair, friendly.
His hair's never messed up.
No.
No. Yeah. I just think
He could throw on a tie or something, but
Yeah.
look a little more
he's got
presidential.
pants on. It's not like he's out there
Bow tie.
Donald Ducking
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah.
He's got pants on.
Yeah, but I think
Which is
that's
something
part of the
more
problem.
you can say than some of our presidents.
I think they're thinking that he's going to make Donald Duck because he has part of his sailor outfit on.
Yeah.
That he's going to be like the Secretary of Defense.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, I think
And
he
I think
realizes.
people are really worried about the no pants thing
I think Pete would probably be a better Secretary of Defense.
because he's a bully.
Well, no, Pete knows how to get things done. You put your thumb on him. That's what Pete says. It's a quote from a Goofy movie, an underrated film.
Oh.
But
A documentary.
I think no, that's not a documentary. That's ridiculous. It's an animated movie. But
I mean, we're seriously discussing Mickey Mouse being president.
I think he's got a lot of good ideas, and he's fair. He's got a Mousca tool that can help when we need things. That'll help us later.
Sure.
Yeah.
Balance the budget with it, probably.
All he's got to do is sing sing "Oh Toodles," and it comes out.
Comes
so
out. There it is.
he's got a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Good with animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Goofy would be a great VP because aren't all VPs a little goofy?
Yeah. But then you might come into the problem where they're both coming from because like the president, vice president can't come from the same state.
That's right. Yeah.
They clearly live in the same place.
Well, they do currently.
So he may have to.
They can't live in. They can't be from the same state.
Disney.
Yeah, you might have to go outside of Disney.
Hanna-Barbera?
You might have to go Hanna-Barbera or something.
Snagglepuss.
Well,
That's going to open up
draw in a different
Huckleberry
demographic for sure.
Yeah,
Huckleberry Hound will give you a lot of votes from the South.
that's true.
That's true.
Because he's a hound dog.
That's true.
That's true.
There is that.
That's an interesting thought, and one that I hadn't thought about. Snagglepuss would be my go-to.
I think he's got a lot going.
I mean, could you see Mickey making like any Supreme Court nominations? I mean, do you have any like ideas who he might throw it, whose name he might throw in the hat?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Nominee.
You want somebody who is going to make decisions and
be fair.
and be fair.
fair.
And,
And would it be wrong of him to pick Minnie because she's a decision maker and she's fair?
Minnie's
what
good.
about nepotism?
That's true.
I don't know that they're. I don't know if they're officially. I've never seen them wed. I just think it's
They have the same last name.
romantic ties.
That's true.
Well,
People might throw that out there.
That's true. That's something to think about, and not one that I've really got.
Pluto. I could see Pluto there.
Pluto could make some decisions. What about Scrooge McDuck?
Scrooge McDuck. Yeah.
I would think maybe more like a Treasury Secretary.
Treasury. There you go.
fair.
Yeah, he's Treasury.
He is shrewd. He's a shrewd businessman.
How to
Yes.
pinch the pennies.
He does. He does, and dive into them too.
And dive into him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
They could. Yeah.
You know.
That's three great candidates right there.
Yeah. Of course, they're all related.
What about Max, Goofy's son?
Yeah.
Max went to college. I saw that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's an educated man.
Oh, he's qualified.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, something.
Would you have like a Secretary of State kind of individual
And let's pretend
who
like
would be good, like with foreign affairs and stuff?
I think Clarabelle Cow is agriculture.
Yeah. Clarabelle
There you
Cow. Good one.
You're welcome.
Good one. Yeah. Clarabelle Cow. Agriculture. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secretary of what were we doing?
State.
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 Okay.
And what? Let's
Maybe
pretend
kind of
like
do foreign affairs.
maybe
and stuff.
for okay, foreign affairs. Pepe Le Pew.
That's what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mind.
Yeah.
My mouth, my thought out of my mouth, the words out of my
But he
mouth.
might be
Even
canceled.
with his reputation.
Pepe
He
Le
does.
Pew.
Well,
Yeah.
I think politically, we've never been afraid to put a womanizer in an office.
You got a point there. Maybe Pepe might end up running for president.
He might already have been. He might
have already.
Yeah. Can he serve another term? I guess that's really what we're asking.
But even though he could still be in the cabinet,
And then
Yeah, that's true.
or just make him
Transportation.
ambassador to
Transportation.
France or something.
transportation. I mean, Mickey himself, being a former ship captain, would be a good. What about Popeye?
Oh, yeah.
He would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, I think we got
Definitely into.
He's a sailor man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Can't hate that.
No.
So, when in 4 years, when the next election was around, go Mickey.
Mickey getting a yard sign now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse.
2028.
Mickey Mouse and Goofy.
Who did we say is Goofy?
Goofy, I think
Mickey
so.
and Goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2028.
Sounds
Oh
good
no!
to me.
Wait, did I pick somebody else? Oh, I said Snagglepuss.
You did say because we
That's
said
right,
they couldn't
we
come
couldn't
from
do it. Yeah, you got to go with
Yeah,
Mickey and
Snagglepuss.
Snagglepuss.
Mickey Snagglepuss 2028.
Mouse Snagglepuss.
Yeah.
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 Do we know Snagglepuss's first name?
He's a cat. No, that is his full
It's
name.
his whole name. He's like
Yeah.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Just
He's,
Cher. He just got
he's
the
the
one
Cher
name
and Madonna of the
of the
cartoon.
cartoon.
The door's open. A jar on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. We got more riveting election stuff
Yeah, we're
coming up.
We've got some major announcements.
Yeah.
And now, a word from your sponsor.
Yeah.
I Lost My Phone notepads. The What You Gonna Want to Do podcast is brought to you by iLasmufone, pronounced iLasmufone.
Again,
Notepads.
Joe, you don't need to read what's inside there.
Yeah.
Stage directions.
Well,
That's it. Stage lefty, man.
Stage lefty. I'm sorry. Smartphones bring so much convenience to our lives, but they come at a large cost.
Yeah, they do.
The phones themselves can run hundreds of dollars, and then there's the monthly bills. With today's economy, it all starts to be too much, isn't that true?
Yeah, it's so much.
But now there's hope. Just think about it. Basically, everyone has a phone these days, so why are you spending all your hard-earned money? The answer is simple. For just a few dollars, you can buy one of our iLasmufone notepads. And then you can ditch that expensive smartphone. Just be sure before you toss that old smartphone, jot down all your most important numbers. Then the next time you need to make a call, you walk up to anyone you please, point to our notepad and say your name. I lost my phone. Is it okay if I borrow your phone to make a call? They'll hear what they want to hear, but they'll probably let you use their phone. And all you have to do is open it up, find the right number, make that call, and it costs you nothing. And of course, you can basically do this with any notepad if you don't mind being a liar. As an added bonus, you can even play games on your I Lost My Phone notepad. Buy one today, available wherever What You Gonna Want to Do merch can be found.
If you haven't caught on yet, this whole election bit is just a joke. No matter which side you supported through the election, you've heard the refrain over and over, this is the most important election of your life.
Yes.
It was not even close. It's far from the most important decision you'll ever make in your lifetime. If you haven't already decided to follow Jesus Christ and accept Him as your Lord and Savior, you will have to answer the question that Peter did in Matthew 16. Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And that is the only right answer. One day you will come to that realization. In Philippians chapter 2, verses 9 and 11, it says, "Therefore God has highly exalted him and bestowed on him the name that is above every name, so that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father." And with that, we'll start this week's Bible study. So back to Hebrews.
Back to Hebrews.
And this week we're talking about Abraham. And we've said before, this chapter is called the Hall of Faith.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're thinking, like Hall of Faith, like the Hall of Fame, like Baseball Hall of Fame, of these individuals in here, why don't you kind of put Abraham up at like the Babe Ruth level?
For sure.
I mean, him and Noah. I mean, everyone else, men of great faith, without a doubt. David as well. But I would say, I would probably throw Abraham in there at the top.
Yeah.
So, Hebrews 11. Scott, do you have it? You want to start?
Yep. What do we read?
We're starting with, just read verse 8 and 9.
Sure. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. By faith, he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. And so from this one man, and he as good as dead, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as countless as the sand on the seashore.
Awesome. You've done quite a bit of study on Abraham, correct?
Yeah.
And I think you shared with me one time about how quickly Abraham responded when God told him to go.
For when he was sacrificing, when he was supposed to sacrifice Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when it was. I was thinking when God told him, I want you to leave the land with your father.
No, but he did that without question.
Without question.
Yeah. He didn't question God. God told me to do this. I have faith. And I know there's some who say that his father was actually like an idol maker. Have you heard that?
I feel like I have heard that. I feel like I've heard that.
So, it's possible that his own father wasn't actually worshiping God.
Right. Yeah.
Very likely.
Yeah.
So, but
he, pagans.
Yeah. But he came out of that to this land, and as you read, the land of promise. It's just, one of the most amazing, as we said, like the Babe Ruth of faith. He doesn't hesitate when God asks him to do something. He does it right away.
Yeah.
And we need to, be like, and that's so, that is not an easy thing to do, because it's not, it wasn't comfortable for him.
No.
He's living,
he didn't do it perfectly.
No, he had his missteps along the way. He was, far from perfect.
Yeah.
When you study his life and you see, the many times that, well, this is not my wife, it's my sister.
Not about it. Yeah.
It fell into that thing, and then his own son even repeated that.
Yeah.
Having seen him do it.
And him and Sarah both fell into the trap of trying to take, the work of God into their own hands.
Yeah.
And conceiving a son.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the problems that caused them still causes the his children, to this day. But that being said, there's the three major religions in the world. I mean, there's others, but three major religions in the world they're Abrahamic faiths,
monotheistic ones.
Yeah, they all trace their lineage to Abraham. Obviously we believe that one completely falsely.
Yeah.
And then, the Jewish faith, which up until Christ was, spot on, but then it's moved on to the new covenant through Christ. So, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're reading the text, and I think it's easy to do, and I know it's been said thousands of times in the past, still said today, that if you're reading it, you may not catch the significance of the passage or the story or the teaching. When you realize putting yourself in that position, it humbles you to know the faith that Abraham had and Noah had. It's easy to overlook on it because it's almost, if you're not thinking and focused, you put them as characters.
Yeah.
But these are real people.
Yeah.
They heard God.
Yeah.
And they go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It amazes me.
And I do think that like what you were saying, and why I tried to point out that he was flawed is because, I mean, I know especially for me as a child and into a young man, I didn't necessarily think too much of the flaws of a lot of the biblical characters.
Yeah,
I
didn't either.
could go there. Yeah, I would.
And I thought,
Yep.
like when you see with his grandson Jacob and see him being deceitful and lying, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he was, this great person of faith, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So surely, that was okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to realize that. No, he was not right in, being as deceitful as he was.
Yeah.
And more, and that's a great point too, Caleb. You brought it up. I mean, that's a great way for people to engage in it that think that it's too lofty for them or that they're too lowly for it.
Yeah. Because I almost think thinking of it in that way, somehow it minimalizes the faith that they had because it actually makes them seem like on a higher plane, unachievable to us.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's
it really
not.
does.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I mean, of course he had faith. He was,
Yeah, he was Abraham.
He was Abraham. Yeah.
He was the Babe Ruth of faith.
He was a babe.
Yeah.
But I mean, he, there were struggles that he had, but I mean, at the same time, God told him to leave his family, which is hard to do even today. Today to leave an area where you grew up in, but even back then it was nearly unheard of.
Right.
And so when he takes off, it's literally a big step of faith.
Yeah.
Well,
then when
this
he
God
left,
that presumably his family didn't even know.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he took his wife, his nephew with him, the people who he had, the servants and stuff that he had already accumulated. And off they went to this land that he had never been to, never seen. And when he got there, he didn't take over the land. He just, he lived there as a stranger. And, it wasn't,
It wasn't
never
like
his,
he came in and it was all.
Yeah, it was never his land.
Yeah.
His people wouldn't be their land for generations yet.
Yeah. And I, to carry on with the Babe Ruth analogy, I feel like this chunk stops short of like mentioning his, single season home run record when he does, God tells him to go and sacrifice Isaac, and he does it in complete and utter faith. And like you were asking earlier, when I was studying about that, there's some scholars that say that God told him to do it. And like hours later, they were already on the journey, packing up, because the scholars believe it was during the night, and then the next morning they got up and took off for the trip. Yeah, and it's just, I mean, and there's other passage about this, but the whole time, I mean, this is the son of the promise, right? And the whole time, Abraham believed that God wasn't going to ultimately take him. He thought God was going to resurrect him.
Yeah.
Which is just so crazy.
Yeah. It is.
That is something.
Because he was looking forward to that salvific resurrection.
Yeah.
That nobody really even knew.
Right.
Was a thing. But he knew
that God had promised him that this was the son, that his, heritage would come through.
Yeah.
And so if I take his life on this altar, God is going to raise him back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for all of his shortcomings, the lying about the nature of his wife to preserve himself.
Yeah.
And he did that a couple times that we have documented at least.
Right.
And then.
Yeah, because it could have been more, because he mentioned that at one point that I told her, that she can do this for me. Say that she's my sister. And it makes it sound like maybe he did it more than once.
Yeah. We know he listed it twice, right?
Yeah.
There's two different accounts. And then, trying to take God's promises into his own hands.
Yeah.
And there were shortcomings, but at the same time, this man had faith. He was a real person.
Right.
Real flaws, but also a real faith in a real God.
Yeah. And Sarah's mentioned here as well.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of odd because, you know, when she hears it, her first response is to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, she was even chastised for that.
Yeah.
You know, why are you laughing? But it took faith for her as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's well past the age of bearing a child, and she's going to carry this child, you know.
And I mean, their story is also one of a great example of just persevering and trusting in God, because they had been told this. They knew this for a while, that God was going to provide them with a son. But it just keeps not happening.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure they lost, for them to get where they do,
right,
and to go into that, I'm sure they lost faith in that for a time. And that's what led in the shortcomings. Or grew impatient, as we often do.
True.
But see it's such a perfect work from a perfect God that he balances out. You mentioned it, this overwhelming faith and adventure of faith, and also at times losing faith or doing something that's not, you know, it's breaking a commandment or whatever. But it makes them human at the same time, so we can get an insight and feel connected to them, while at the same time giving us the goal that we can strive for. And I think not tonight, obviously, but I would maybe at some further show, maybe get into a little bit of the apologetics because to further back that this is well founded. There's plenty of cross references in the Bible that these books are. There's hundreds of these manuscripts. Well beyond the nearest human book. And they all confirm each other.
Exactly.
You know.
Oh,
So when we talk about these characters, or real people, is what we're saying.
Right.
I think that's important for people to understand, that we're not talking about, you know, a superhero or something out there.
Right.
These are real people. This really happened. These aren't just stories.
Like ancient Hebraic myth.
And through their account, we also see the faithfulness of God, because, like you said, you know, at a point they decided to take this into their own hands, but God is still faithful and still brings the child, just as He said He would, you know, through Sarah, and you know, and this is the child through, you know, the line that eventually we get Christ from.
I mean, He even makes the child that wasn't born of the blessing fruitful.
He blesses him as well, makes so many, like 12 kingdoms or something, I think. Something like that says will come from him. And very much so. God is faithful and true.
And that's the thing about, I know not to keep harping on the fact that they're flawed, but so many of these guys, their shortcomings are documented in the Bible, and God chooses flawed men to show how perfect He is.
And for me, that goes to prove the legitimacy of the Word of God, because, you know, your heroes, you usually kind of cover up their flaws, you know, unless it's you know, DC comic or something modern day, you know. But for, you know, throughout the ages, the heroes were the heroes, and they, you know, they did things perfectly, and, you know, they were the great ones, and they no flaws, but here we see them.
Absolutely. Abraham's one of my favorites.
Mine as well. And I think we'll just leave it at that. Pick up at this point next week.
Sounds good.
Move on in Hebrews.
I just reply with only facts, Dad, and that's all I ever bring to the table. I said, I look like him,
facts,
but better.
I believe younger and better looking is what you usually say.
Younger, better.
Again, tell me which one of those is the wrong thing, and I won't say that anymore. I'm waiting.
You got some news for us, Scott?
Yes. This post-election special, I think it's appropriate.
Exactly.
This day, November 7th, a Thursday, of course,
Naturally.
disputed U.S. presidential election.
Ooh.
Which we just went over this a bit. But on this day, of course, in 2000, the U.S. presidential election ended in a statistical tie between Democrat Al Gore and Republican George W. Bush, only to be settled December 12th.
Wow. Drove that on.
By the U.S. Supreme Court after a bitter legal dispute. And that's, of course, part of that was the hanging chads and all that business.
The pregnant chads. Unpregnant chads.
Well, I'll give you a couple births
Yeah.
today. How about Marie Curie?
Ooh.
No.
A Polish-born French physicist born today in 1867.
Cool.
Hey, we were just talking about her too, and I do have to believe she's better than Bonnie Raitt, but for this podcast,
Wow. Okay.
I'll go with the popular that she's not. Joni Mitchell,
Oh.
Oh, that's interesting that you took that out of a take.
in the 1943.
Okay.
Billy Graham,
Oh, wow.
Cool.
1918.
Wow.
Wow.
And for all you writers out there, Albert Camus, 1913.
Yeah. I mean, and who of us hasn't read some of Camus' stuff?
And this day in 2016, and I'll end it with this, Canadian musician Leonard Cohen, a hugely influential singer and songwriter known for spare songs that carried an existential bite, died at age 82.
Wow.
A full life.
A full life, yes. And if you know anything about Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen had a lot of religion, some Christian elements in a lot of his music. Yeah.
Very cool.
So although I don't know that he was a Christian, but I hope he was, but he did have that in some of his music. So that's it.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, for our weird segment,
Some would say we don't have a normal segment.
this is true.
Other segments at all.
Weird, and sticking with our post-election theme, weird ballot measures.
Oh.
Not necessarily from this year, but throughout the years.
So like one ballot was like 75 inches, and that's weird.
Yeah.
That kind of measurement?
That kind of ballot measure?
No.
Okay.
Like, you'll say, should we spend so much to pave the roads, or should we change these roads the one way, or
Oh,
so
those
like
kind
issues.
of ballot. Yeah.
okay.
Do
Ballot
people
measures, ballot issues.
So do people usually call it measures? Because I'm not familiar with that term.
Do
Okay.
ballot measures.
All right. Yeah,
as well
I
as
believe
ballot
you.
issues.
You're more into that than me. I vote
So,
early. I vote often.
in 93, there was a ballot issue measure.
Oh, that makes more
Should
sense.
a cop be allowed to walk his beat with a ventriloquist dummy?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you always need a partner.
That's how you would have voted on this?
Well, yeah, but I think, and plus it leads. So when he's interrogating somebody, he can say, "I ain't no dummy," and then, "But I am." I think that's great.
But I am.
Well, one of us is a dummy. It's not me.
Yeah. I think a lot of good stuff can happen.
I think that could be a...
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I think that could be a...
The dummy can read him his rights.
Yeah. I think that could be a positive, really.
While he's
Perhaps.
booking him, the dummy can read him his rights.
So, are you voting yes on it?
I vote for the ventriloquist. I'm splitting my vote.
Okay. What?
You're voting for the dummy and not the cop?
Correct.
You want the dummy to walk the beat.
Absolutely.
I love this. Okay. I changed my mind. I'm splitting my vote too.
The way it was worded, you couldn't split your vote. You had to go one way or
Okay.
the other.
Well, then I guess I naturally
So
have to
it's a
vote for
yes
the
or
dummy
no.
to be a
Dummy.
vote.
Yeah, it's got to be
And
both.
it passed.
Well, yeah.
It did?
As it should, because
passed.
you're only paying...
Any idea where?
Well, that's...
Yeah, it's kind of obvious.
What? Hollywood?
Oh, what? It's
Close.
Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas.
Same state.
Nevada.
San Francisco.
California.
Yeah, it's California. Same state. It's Nevada.
Nevada, obviously. Sorry.
It is California.
Wasn't paying attention. Yeah, California.
It's San Francisco.
That's what I said. I said
No,
that.
San
I'm sorry, I
Francisco.
did not hear you. But yes, it passed.
I just think it makes sense, though. You do it's one less officer you have to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't
He's got a
say
partner.
that. Maybe they had to pay the dummy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we need a name call. Can we go on to the next thing?
Sure.
Sure.
Well, it just took a turn, and I didn't see that
Yes.
coming.
So,
Sure.
should a dog be our mayor? This was Cormorant, Minnesota.
I guess the question is, what kind of dog are we
2014.
talking here?
Well, what kind of dog would you be willing to vote as your mayor?
Well, I
Any
think
breeds?
Yeah.
it would
There's
have
some breeds.
it would
that
have to
you
be a
would.
purebred for sure.
Well,
like a Great Dane?
Looks like it was a purebred.
Oh, okay.
No, but it was great.
Pyrenees?
Pyrenees.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I don't
see a
think I'm not going to
Pyrenees.
vote for a Chihuahua. I'm not going to vote for any small dog. Any dog that's the same size as a cat.
I tell you what, I'm with him. No small dogs.
Yeah.
No.
A Saint Bernard, I'd vote for the crap out of a Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm partial to my beagle. I think they've got a good strong head on their shoulders.
They
I
make
go
good
beagle.
decisions in office.
Oh yeah.
They seem a
Yeah.
little lethargic, though. I don't know that I could get on board with a beagle.
Well, they have their moments.
A golden retriever.
I mean,
I
Snoopy,
like the retriever.
Snoopy was a beagle.
Snoopy was a beagle.
He seemed
Yeah,
very
smart.
resourceful.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
really.
Okay, well,
you can't,
I think Snoopy.
you can't
would have
vote
been
down Snoopy.
personally, I think it's insane that you're bringing up a
I mean, if
cartoon
Mickey
as
Mouse,
a political
if
figure.
Mickey Mouse,
yeah,
if Mickey
I'm
Mouse
sorry.
can be president, Snoopy could definitely be mayor.
I
Snoopy's-
think so.
Okay, Snoopy could be mayor.
Especially
Woodstock. Deputy mayor.
Cormorant, Minnesota. It's got to be a pretty small town.
Yeah.
So we're talking Minnesota. So you're asking what kind of dog I think would do well in Minnesota.
And if
So
we-
Minnesota's cold. I know,
is-
but they were wrong for what they chose.
Oh,
I mean, a
boy.
Great Pyrenees is a good dog.
Okay.
And could he be mayor for sure?
Okay.
There's no doubt on that. But what kind of
there's no
dog would I want
controversy
if
there.
I was wanted a Minnesota
yeah, in
mayor?
that climate,
I think I
that-
want something could do cold weather.
Yeah.
Like a husky.
Husky
Ooh,
could be
husky.
okay. I don't
Yeah.
mind that. Yeah. What about an Akita?
They're pretty.
Yeah.
I like the cuties.
Yeah. They're also a little aggressive.
little
But I
aggressive.
think you need that when you're in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need some
mean-
aggression.
Cormorant may have ended up taking over Duluth if you would have put
That's
Nikita
right.
in charge of the city.
Who was the dogs that brought the
St. Bernard's.
Saint Bernard? Yeah.
You could. So you're thinking, I'd be any large breed, especially in Minnesota. You don't want a small dog
No.
trying to run a cold weather
Oh, no.
climate city.
All right.
No, I have
But I
to
think
agree
maybe-
with that.
And this Great Pyrenees name was Duke, by the way.
Okay, well,
Duke.
that's fair. Yeah,
Very
I think he could have
regal
been.
kind of sounding name.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And had he
Do
done
you
any?
think he? Do you think he won?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you think?
I think he won.
He not only won, he was reelected twice.
Had he done anything before? Like,
I don't know if he
was
ran
on
for city council or
Maybe he was on the school board.
dog warden, maybe.
That's all.
that's a
Dog
bit-
warden.
That feels
That would be good.
a little bit forced.
But yeah,
Forced.
he was
A
reelected.
little bit.
Reelected
Coroner.
twice.
Coroner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe he was at one time the sheriff.
Yeah. He worked his way up from the bottom.
that's right.
Did it say if he had any law enforcement background?
It did not say.
That would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Like maybe he was a drug sniffing dog or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I hope
Yeah.
not, because that's not what you want. That sounds more like something you'd have in the Canadian government.
Yeah. Maybe that ventriloquist could ride on his back.
Yeah. Ooh, what if he had it? Yeah, I like this. What if his deputy mayor?
Was it a ventriloquist? You never
I
know.
think- I
mean,
think-
if they were in the right state,
Or like
they could
lamb,
pull it
what if
off.
lamb? What if it was lamb
Minnesotans
chop?
aren't going to go for that.
No, but San Franciscans would.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
The next one: should we prohibit toxic waste in our drinking water?
You know what? This is the first time I'm going to take a real stance. You probably shouldn't let it in.
You don't think so?
It's time.
I think ideally...
You're anti-toxic waste.
Yeah, I think ideally you don't want that. You don't want to drink it if you can avoid it if all possible.
Yeah.
You're going with that as well?
I got to.
You don't want the toxic waste.
There's nothing about toxic and or waste that I can get behind.
You don't want to intentionally digest that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's a bad move for basically anybody.
Yeah, I think before we were being kind of lighthearted, having a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
But I think
We're
this is
taking a hard
firmly,
stance. Taking a hard stance.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah.
And this was clear back in 1986.
Oh my.
Yeah. Well,
And it was in California.
Really?
Huh. Yeah,
I'm surprised.
I've always been big on no number twos in what I'm drinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's been a big...
Especially if it's toxic.
Yes, if it's toxic number two.
At all, but definitely not when it's toxic.
Yeah.
Pass on that.
Yeah.
The next one. Should we take over the Grand Canyon?
Oh, yeah. We should.
Absolutely.
Well, because think about it. It's ours anyways. So...
Yeah,
Well,
actually.
Oh, was it Native Americans?
No.
Oh.
Can we
It
plan?
was a state.
It was a state.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon was its own state.
No.
The state was
The
trying to...
state was voting on whether or not to take over.
Tell me
the
what.
Grand Canyon.
Tell me what state.
What state do you think it was?
I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I know not much. I don't know much about it. Was it a state that's close to it, or is it like? Is it like Kentucky?
I'm asking the question.
I'm hoping it's one of the ones around there. I'm hopeful for that.
It'd be better if it wasn't.
It would be if it was like
Maine.
Yeah.
Maine. Yeah.
New Hampshire's like, guess what?
Kansas.
We're taking over.
The flatlands of Kansas is where it's located.
New York's like, we already have some of the falls. We want the whole.
What the whole
We got some.
enchilada.
Yeah.
We've got to have.
We need it. We want it. We have to have it.
Yes, yes.
We would like to take over the Grand
You
Canyon.
can see the Maid of the Mist
Yeah.
floating in that.
Drifting all the way down the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
It's one giant journey to the canyon.
It would be grand.
Yes.
Yeah. Any idea what state it really was, though?
No. Colorado.
Colorado.
No.
No, of course not.
Idaho.
Arizona.
Arizona.
No. I think Arizona should not take over the Grand Canyon.
What about you?
You don't think they should?
I don't think. I think
What is that then? Is that just the?
Where is it?
Well, who has it then?
Is it in both, more than one?
National.
Well,
Oh, it's
yes.
just a national park then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and they want it for their own. They want to do
I
their own
see.
thing.
Yeah.
I thought
Like
it
put on top.
was, or they had partial. No, they don't own any. They don't have any say in it.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I would like to retract my previous statement. Arizona should do whatever they can to get the Grand Canyon,
You think so?
even if it means leaving the union.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
We're going to
that's a hot take.
secede,
They're gonna
and
secede.
we're taking the canyon with
the
us.
canyon's coming with us. Like fun, and we not gonna have the canyon.
Like, you guys want to come see the canyon?
Tough
You're
crap.
going to have to get a passport.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to pledge allegiance to the country of Arizona,
Yeah.
the grand country of Arizona, because they'll adopt the grand part.
Oh,
Oh.
that could happen.
Yeah.
And Bonnie Raitt's gonna sing their national anthem.
Well, as you should.
Yeah, as you
probably.
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with let's keep it a national treasure.
You think that's
Yeah.
what you're going with?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a controversial.
So you guys are split.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 well,
So it's a push, and nothing changes.
and nothing changed. It failed. It's
not.
Yeah.
Well, that's in Arizona needs to get a backbone and secede until they get what they want.
Wow.
wow.
You want the canyon?
You can't even get all the Arizonian zones. So how do we ever say people from Arizona?
Nobody's really from Arizona.
Arizonians?
People move there.
Arizonians? That would,
I don't know.
sounds right.
Have you ever met a native Arizonan? We did this about another state not that long ago.
I think McCain, John McCain.
Oh, was he?
That's not what I asked.
Well, I never met him. So.
That's what I'm getting at. So Canada.
No.
So
There's a couple people I went to school with that have moved out there.
Yeah.
They're not native.
That's what I'm saying. So
They're
are there
islands.
people that are native to Arizona? Probably not.
I think they get a lot of snowbirds and stuff. I don't know if there's...
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So it's a push.
But it failed.
It's a push on that.
It failed. Moving on.
Yeah.
Should we let Roxy, the miniature pig, stay?
Should we let her stay? Is this like
What is Roxy? Where
Is
did
this
Roxy
like-
come from?
Is this like like no, I can't.
now
I can't
stay.
say. I can't say what I was gonna say.
That's probably for the best.
I'll backtrack on that. So
This was a city.
Oh, okay.
And a city that I'm sure we've all been to before.
Oh,
well, Roxy, I'm assuming was good for morale.
Okay.
She was probably bringing in the bacon. Would be my guess.
She was a miniature pig.
Yeah.
miniature pig.
She was a family pet.
Okay. What?
Huh.
Should she be?
Roxy, the miniature pig.
Was she a nuisance? I guess I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of answers. But any idea what
This was
city
like
it might
a
have been?
citywide thing.
Roxy,
citywide
the
thing.
miniature pig?
Yep.
I
This
think
happened in 1993.
93. This is around the same time as something I was about to make a joke of.
Great.
Oh man, is this like when Clinton let that kid go back? Wasn't that Clinton when we sent the kid back?
Gonzalez,
Yeah.
kid to Cuba.
Gonzalez.
Is this like the city's version of?
I think that was later.
Yeah, that was
in his term,
later.
closer to the end of his second term.
Yeah, but is this like
This
this?
was in
Is
the beginning.
this is like the predecessor.
predecessor.
This is what. So I think
This is what inspired it.
I think they did kick him out. Then I think they kicked the pig out because I think this is what Clinton based a lot of that stuff on.
Was this what? I mean, I'm trying to think where it's at.
It's a big.
Yeah,
is it a major
It's a
metropolitan
city.
area?
Yeah, it's a big. Is it a big and small city?
It's not.
It's a
not a
real.
big-
It's a
Delaware.
village.
It's like
now.
Delaware, Ohio, or something.
You're on the right track.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It is Ohio.
Okay, so the pig should have stayed, but I think it wasn't allowed to stay.
It was west of here, a little north.
West,
Troy,
west of here.
Just a little north of Troy.
Bell Fountain. Did I go too far?
No.
Yeah, it's
Green,
still west.
Green.
Sydney?
Not quite that far north.
Oh, okay.
There's one fairly decent sized
Do you
city
know?
in
not-
between
okay.
Troy and Sydney. Almost.
All right,
every
Brian
municipal-
Bates. What is it?
Pickwa.
Oh, Piqua.
I mean, you're not.
Piqua's got the miniature pig,
They did.
or they did.
They don't
It
anymore.
was in '93.
Oh,
90,
okay.
but they kicked her out.
But they kicked her out
Did
to
they
the
kick her
curb.
out?
They
Is that
told her
what you're
to.
saying?
I think they did. I think they should have kept her.
Pickwa voted.
They said, "There's the door, pig."
Yep,
There
no
it goes.
pig.
I told you. Then this is what they based. This is Clinton looked at this and he said,
And the family moved.
Wherever that pig's going, I'm going to.
They moved.
right.
They moved to Fayette. That's where they moved. Everybody's got pigs. They moved Southern Ohio for sure.
For sure.
Probably.
Which I think Fayette's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? Actually, no. I can't.
You can't say because you work for a certain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
conflict.
But I know right where it starts.
yeah, I could say it,
Yeah.
but I won't.
I don't,
Okay.
I'm just saying you don't have to go down as far down as 56 as you think. That's all I'm going to say.
It's 56.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Final one here.
Oh,
Should we stop selling Europeans our horse meat?
oh. That's precludes another more disturbing. Are we?
Are we still
Are
selling?
we selling horse meat at all?
Good question.
Well, Europeans are into eating the horse meat.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Or at least they were at a time. I don't think it's quite as in vogue.
So they said nay to horse meat.
Probably.
nay.
Yes.
Nay to that.
Well, it kind of leaves you with like a tickle in your throat.
Horse meat?
Makes you a little hoarse.
Where is the who's doing that?
Would it behoove them?
Well, it was in a state that showed up a couple times already.
Oh,
They're
really?
waiting for this.
California?
California.
Are you
again.
kidding me?
That's a far way to ship horse meat.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
Well,
surprised.
they had to go down through the Panama Canal.
I'm surprised.
they
it's
shipped it
California.
on boats.
Apparently, how else are you gonna ship it? You're not flying horse meat.
Horse meat flies first class.
Flying horses.
Flying horses.
talking about Pegasus. Yeah. So,
What is? I'm surprised California would
this
be
is like the
Be doing it.
Yeah,
was
just like early 1900s?
this was 1998.
What?
Oh, man.
Wow.
So they stopped.
About the same time Clinton sending the little boy to Cuba.
So so that's a hint.
How's that it?
I don't know.
That's a hint.
Okay.
That's wild.
So they definitely stopped it, for sure. But what do I think? Are these horses? Is this like a glue situation where it's either glue or meats?
There wasn't a lot of answers.
All right.
I don't know what I think about them stopping or start. I'm more concerned how they started.
Why were they doing it
Yeah.
in the first
Well,
place?
my guess is it was a long-standing trade. They send us. What do they send us?
was triggered by Europeans.
They were probably sending.
Silver.
Oh,
I bet. So here's what I'm thinking. It's a lot of retired film horses.
Black Beauty here.
Yeah.
Retired
Secretariat.
film horses?
Retired film
From
horses.
Westerns?
Yeah. All the.
Yeah, maybe that's where they went.
Every single
The
horse.
Duke's horse.
Yeah. Every single.
Never seen them again.
There he goes again.
Remember the Lone Ranger? Remember
this
Silver?
horse, when this horse was on Bonanza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Now it is a bit.
Surely not
Smorgasbord.
Mr. Ed.
It's a smorgasbord.
Board. Surely not Mr. Ed, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wilbur, don't eat me.
Silver.
And don't.
I think
Even
like
Tonto's
Silver
horse.
and Trigger and them are stuffed, I think.
Yeah. They
Well,
gotta be.
no, I think you're wrong. I think somebody stuffed themselves
Ooh.
with
Oh,
silver
whoa.
trigger.
They stuffed
man.
themselves with silver trigger.
They were full to the brim. So I probably, you know what?
Seabiscuit too? Mm-hmm. Don't
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyone who won a Triple Crown?
Oh. Out to the
Anyone who
Seattle Slew?
Seattle.
Stew.
didn't?
Ooh, ow.
Well, that wouldn't make sense because it wouldn't have been in Seattle. It would have been in Europe.
I know.
So maybe like a Manchester stew.
Still, yeah. Consomme or
Yeah. So I think they should have been. They should have kept it up.
You think they should have
that's
kept
controversial.
selling?
Yeah, I think they should have let it gallop along.
Gallop
Going its merry
along.
way, right up into
I
the
put the
sunset.
reins on that.
Oh, you're pulling up. Whoa! Hey!
Oh, there. Stop the meat from going overseas.
Yeah. But I think they definitely shut it down. Oh no! You know what? Hot take. California still under the books. They're still doing this. They shut it down publicly, but there's a big
Black
horse
market.
meat ring
Oh, okay.
going around.
Black Beauty.
Black,
On the black market.
Yeah.
black market.
Yeah, I think the Hollywood horses are still making their way over to Europe for snack time.
Wow, that's disturbing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All you horse lovers out here,
Yeah.
we had nothing to do with this.
No, I wish,
No horses were harmed in the making
no.
of this podcast.
and we wish California
the
would stop the
California-
illegal exportation.
Horse traffic.
Gavin Newsom, stop sending our horsemen
Yeah.
over there.
Over
Come
there
on,
to-
man.
yeah.
We already voted no because they did, right?
They
Europeans.
They
they
quit it. So stop illegally sending California. If you're listening, please stop the illegal exportation of horse meat to Europe.
Yes.
yeah.
Stop using the horse for meat, period, I
Yeah.
would say. I'll go one.
And stop using the horse meat as a way to leverage with the European countries.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's no way to make friends.
There's no way to make hay.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Those poor horses. Once I was leading the chuck wagon.
Now I'm
ground
Now I
chuck.
am Chuck wagon. Now I am Chuck wagon.
Yeah.
I am just ground chuck.
Man. One day they're high on the horse, and the next day they're cooked at a high temperature. Or slow. I've heard horse is better if you let it braise.
Oh.
We're gonna
Oh boy.
links to some good horse recipes in the description. But we're against it and quit California.
Yeah,
one more
absolutely.
time. We ask you, we plead you, would stop the illegal exportation of horse meat to European countries.
Yes, please.
Yep.
We cannot ask you enough.
And then I have this.
Okay.
On waves of love, my heart is breaking. And stranger still, my self-control I can't rely on anymore. New tide, surprise, my world is changing. Within this frame, an ocean swells. Behind this smile, I know it well. Beneath a lover's moon I'm waiting. I am the pilot of the storm. Adrift in pleasure I may drown. I built this ship, it is my making. And furthermore, my self-control I can't rely on anymore. I know why. I know why. Turn this boat around, back to my loving ground. Oh no. Oh no.
Good night.
The Whatchagonnawannado podcast is brought to you by Scott Dog Productions and is made possible by viewers like you.